Hey there, and welcome to Careers Unchecked, the podcast where we stop checking boxes and start making moves. This is for barrier breakers, career builders, and anyone who's ready to build a career that actually feels like theirs. I'm Brandy Oldham, career coach, interior designer, and year-round iced coffee drinker. Around here, we keep it real. From navigating career pivots to figuring out how to stay balanced when your to-do list feels like it's just never ending. Whether you're chasing that next promotion, thinking about switching things up, or just trying to figure out what's next, you're in the right place. My goal? To help you trust yourself, take action that feels good, and build a career that's sustainable, not stressful. So grab your drink of choice, settle in, and let's get to it. If you've ever felt like you're constantly code switching, translating more than just words and carrying the weight of a whole community on your back, you're probably first generation. And if no one's ever said this to you directly, I see you. You're not just navigating the professional world. You're rebuilding the map as you go. And you're doing it with grace, grit, and a hell of a lot of resistance. Today's episode is personal. We're talking about the real first generation experience. What it means to be the first in your family to graduate college, to step into white collar spaces, or to work in an environment your parents never imagined. I'll be sharing a bit about my own story, plus some client examples, and I'll leave you with 3 practical ways to start working with your first gen edge. Because yes, it is an edge, not a liability. So here's the truth. I didn't grow up knowing what corporate looked like. I'm the daughter of a truck driver and a grocery store manager. We didn't have business cards at home. I now have 2, so weird. No one was talking about LinkedIn, it didn't exist, or performance reviews over dinner. What I did have, though, was ambition, hustle, and hard work. But I didn't have a map. And when I landed in those early professional spaces, I realized quickly there was a whole language I hadn't learned. People were throwing around acronyms I didn't know, saying things like circle back, loop in stakeholders, get alignment. And I remember thinking, what the heck? And also, this is really dumb. But instead of asking, I watched, I translated, I figured it out. Because that's what first gen kids do. We read the room, we piece things together, we learn how to fit in just enough without losing ourselves. And for a long time, I really thought I had to hide that part of me. I worried if I told people where I came from, they'd see me as less professional, less polished, less prepared. But here's what I've learned through coaching, through growing 2 businesses, and honestly through a lot of unlearning, #therapy. That background, that ability to adapt and translate, it's not a weakness. It's actually one of my greatest strengths. There's actually a name for this. It's called cultural straddling. The Center for First Generation Student Success defines it as navigating multiple cultural worlds at once. But what does it feel like? It's like always being the bridge between things, always figuring things out alone, wanting to make your family proud while trying to build a life they have never seen modeled. And through it all, so many first generation professionals develop incredible superpowers. Things like adaptability, systems thinking, resourcefulness, emotional intelligence. Harvard Business Review even found that first-gen professionals are often better problem solvers than their peers because they've had to be. But here's the problem. Too often, these strengths go unnoticed, or worse, underestimated. So let's name them. Let's put words to what you already know how to do. So your first superpower, systems thinking. When you haven't been handed a map, you really have to notice how things work and interact. I remember early in my career working in finance, people started jokingly calling me the systems engineer around the office. Not because that was my job title, but because I had this really weird ability to see the connections no one else was paying attention to. I could sit in a meeting and spot the gaps between what was being said and what actually needed to happen. I'd notice broken workflows, missed handoffs, unspoken dynamics, and I couldn't not see them. At the time, I thought it was just being overly analytical, like maybe I was the one overcomplicating everything. But the truth is, I was seeing the cracks everybody else had learned to ignore. That wasn't a flaw. It was actually a gift. And now as a coach, oh my gosh, That same pattern spotting superpower is what helps me get to the root of a client's challenge. Not just what's happening on the surface, but what's actually happening underneath. It's not just about strategy, it's about seeing the whole system and helping people move through it with clarity. All right, superpower number 2, resourcefulness. If you're first gen, I guarantee you're resourceful. You know how to make things happen with less. You've stretched dollars at times, you've solved problems without a playbook, you've built workarounds when tools just didn't exist for you, and I guarantee you've said yes to the unglamorous jobs. That behind the scenes work, the tasks no one else wanted to do, not because they were fun, they're just necessary. That's not just survival, that's strategy. That's honestly leadership without the title. And superpower number 3, cultural intelligence. You know how to read a room. You know how to shift your communication style based on context without losing who you are in the process. You're fluent in multiple professional dialects, and that's not something most people are born with. It's something you've earned. And still, despite all of this, it's easy for your brain to slip into imposter mode. You might hear the voice that says, gosh, I don't know the rules here. I don't have the right network. I don't fit the mold. But here's what I want you to try instead. If your brain says, I don't know the rules here, try, I see things others miss because I wasn't trained to ignore them. If it says, I just don't have the right connections, try instead, I build deep, genuine relationships and people trust me because of that. If it says, I just don't fit the mold, try, I bring a perspective. This room doesn't even know it's missing. These aren't just affirmations, they're actually true. And when you start telling yourself the truth, everything shifts. Now, let's take all of this and make it practical, because that's what I'm all about. Here are 3 ways to start working with your first gen edge on purpose. Number 1, I want you to name your value clearly. Make a list of what you do differently and honestly better. One of my clients realized he was always the one translating tech speak into business strategy. He stopped brushing it off and started actually owning that. It became his brand and it opened new doors. So ask yourself, what do people always come to me for? What's a strength I almost overlook because it comes so naturally to me? All right, number 2, learn to talk about your experience without minimizing or shrinking it. You don't have to sanitize your story to sound professional. Instead of saying, I didn't have access to the same resources, say, I built my career from the ground up and I became a fast learner because of that. Your story doesn't have to be softened or weakened. It needs to be seen. All right, number 3, find your people. Find the people who get it. Being the bridge is exhausting when you're the only one holding it up. Find other first-generation professionals, the ones who understand the pressure, the pride, the pacing it takes. If you don't see that community where you are, by God, build it. You do not have to carry this alone. So let me leave you with this. You don't have to become just like everyone else to succeed. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're not on a different track, you didn't start behind. And that track has taught you things others just can't fake or do. You've learned how to adapt, how to observe, how to lead from the margins, and the rooms you walk into, they are better because you stepped through that door. So stop trying to blend in. You're not here to blend in. You're here to build. Thanks for joining me today on Careers Unchecked. If you've got a career question or just need someone to bounce an idea off of, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take a breath, take a step, and keep moving forward. You've got this.